welcome to OverTime the podcast. OverTime is a podcast dedicated to all things watches, with a soft spot for the micro brand and affordable range. I'm Praka, and this is my co-host, Justin.
We are two watch tragics based out of Perth, Western Australia. Join us as we chat about new watch releases, share our stories, and give you tips on building your collection.
Whether you're a watch pro or just getting into the hobby, we'll keep you entertained with insights and interviews from the industry, along with our casual conversations.
Let's get started.
So, Justin, how you going, mate?
Hey man, doing pretty good for a Wednesday evening. How about yourself?
Yeah, good. Going well. It was a bloody cold day today.
Chilly, hey?
Things like start off things like 5-6 degrees when I was up this morning, which is yeah, and hence the beanie still on my head. Yeah, but no, it's going well, mate. I'm looking forward to recording yet another episode, and yeah, we've been going pretty strong lately, haven't we?
We need to come back. We did after not lining up a few times earlier on in the year, so we're making up for lost time.
We are, and we're also, I mean, you know, we just got some other things in works at the moment in the background as well, which is very exciting. So, yep. So not just us blowing along, and you know, there'll be different things coming up. So yeah, looking forward
very
to
exciting.
that. So yeah, what I guess before we crack on today, what do you got on your wrist today, mate?
My wrist check for today is the Tudor Black Bay. I spent the weekend wearing it again, another weekend kind of out of the house at a relative's place for the Saturday, Sunday. And yeah, took it with me. And I think same thing as always, just it's the perfect watch for me. Weekend, work, whatever it is. Find myself wearing it more in winter, which may be due to the weight of it. In summer, it does get quite, sweaty and heavy on the wrist at times, but yeah, still perfect watch, not going anywhere, staple in the collection.
Yeah, no, it's killer. I saw that today, actually, which is
yes,
could just yes, it's perfect. It's perfect Justin watch, and yeah, just a killer piece as always.
That's it. What about yourself? What's on wrist?
It's on wrist. Still the same as before.
Same. You've been changing it up some days, hey?
I do, but no, I haven't really. So got the Astor Banks on my wrist with the
very cool
the old cut to size rubber strap on there, which is I'm enjoying this actually. And Justin is looking a little bit
jealous,
left out because his is still on the way, hasn't quite arrived yet. But
it's that, and the smirk is like, I've just realized that just our small little friend group of watch nerds here in Perth is probably funding that alley store pretty heavily at the moment.
Yeah, single-handedly keeping them up. But yeah, maybe I jokingly said it, but that should be like the OverTime, official OverTime strap.
Yeah, white strap. I mean, I've been a fan of white straps for a long time. If you go right back on my Instagram, I used to rock the Rado with a white Barton Elite Silicon, and that was my favorite pairing for a very long time.
Yeah, I do recall seeing that. Very nice. Cool, mate. All right. Cool. Well, let's crack on today's episode. Yeah, we thought we'll do a bit of a two-part episode today. So we'll touch on some new releases. We'll try and fire through them, not labor on on too many for too long, but we'll see how things go. But then the second part of it, we'll have a little bit of a discussion topic. I've certainly found it pretty interesting, and hoping the listeners too as well.
Yeah, perfect. All right, so let's kick off with the first new release of the week, the Zilos Nova 37mm hand wound. Now, regular people might be cringing at the thought of me maybe hating a little bit on Zilos again, but I'm not going to. I'm a huge, huge fan of this. I think what's going on here is very, I don't want to use the word, I don't even remember what the word is, nostalgic. I don't want to use the word nostalgic, but I'm going to because Zilos has had a lot of change over the past 12 to 18 months. And this feels like old Zilos, but in a very refined way. It feels like what they've been trying to do for the last 12 months, they've really nailed in this watch. And it's not a diver, which is weird. I thought well, where I have my fingers crossed, Zelos is going to come back to what I liked. And look, it's all personal preference, right? What I like isn't going to be what you like or what everyone else likes, and it's not
Sure.
what anyone has to like.
Hmm.
It's Elsham, but these little Novas, they're sick. It's got a range of different materials. So we've got, I don't know if I think it's my favorite. Yeah, it is my favorite. I'll go with the Nova 37 in tantalum. So the tantalum is pretty out of control. We're looking at a meteorite dial with an aventurine dial, which is pretty cool. You got
Hmm.
two very sought after dial textures or colorways
Yeah.
in the same dial, and I really like that we got a small center seconds here as well, which is, even though it's all the same layer or depth in the dial itself, it does add something else to it. I like that there's no loom here. It might not be the most legible watch from the outer ring, the media ring, because the applied indices look like they are just stainless steel or whatever they are,
Hmm.
the same metal. They might even be tantalum, who knows? But I don't think that the legibility here isn't an issue for me because it blends in really well. I think if you put loom filled indices or anything here, it would really take away from the rest of the watch. I think this watch could almost do with just some circle indices. No need to go with numbers
Arabics.
itself. Yeah,
Hmm.
Arabics. It could
Hmm.
just be plain. But yeah, I'm a fan. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I think I agree with a lot of what you said. You know, it feels like a return to sort of Zelos, what made Zelos good, I would say, or what makes them good. Obviously, an address piece and a bit more refined size as well. 37's nice. 37's a great size for a dress piece. The
Yeah,
lugs are a little bit longer as well, so you know it works well. You know, when you have a slightly smaller dull size, slightly longer lugs, I think it's just perfect. And you know, we know Zelos is great at making dials. You know, the MOP, the mosaic mop, the adventurine, the you know even the salmon,
the salmon
all
is very nice. Yeah,
great choices. And you know, tantalum is you know just it's a whole conversation in itself. I mean, tantalum is a type of material that's used in some really high end watches. I know Zelos in the past have used tantalum in different watches before. I mean, I think the Hammerhead and maybe the Swordfish, I'm not sure.
I think you're
Um,
right. Yeah, I think there is a swordfish.
yeah, and you
Look at
know,
you go.
oh yeah, I had to catch up on my Zelos knowledge, you know, like yeah, I'm so out of touch with Zelos now. But you know, you just don't really, you know, I think I read somewhere, yeah, it's like you know, APs with tantalum and
Mm,
Moses with tantalum, you know. Those are some really high-end brands with tantalum, not really Zelos. And you know, to be able to have that in the price range of, I mean, look, it's 2,000 US dollars.
it's not cheap. Yeah.
The tantalum version is 2,000 US dollars, and the other ones are 800 or 799 for the Aventurine and the MOP, and then the other two dials, the teal and the salmon, 749 USD. Look, it's not cheap.
Hmm.
However, you know, spec wise, you've got an ETA movement in there, a hand wound ETA movement, 701. You don't really get much how do you say it? ETA movements outside of Swatch Group nowadays. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yep.
really hard to source. The most people choose Solida movements now and
Yep.
also opting for Soprod movements nowadays. Or what's the other one? The Fossil Group one. Anyway,
Yeah, I know what you're talking
it'll
about.
come to me.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So it's pretty cool that they managed to source for these models. It is only, I think, is it limited to 50 pieces for
50 pieces,
just,
correct. Yep.
is that just the tantalum 50
Just the
pieces?
tantalum. I couldn't see what the other ones were, which I
Right.
assume will be like every other release. So as they disappear, you'll
100,
see the number
200
come
or
down.
something. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe 300. I think 300 has been a
Okay.
sweet spot, but
Yeah.
yeah, these with a few of the more sought after colorways that do have a little less usually,
Mm.
they might go a bit quicker. And yeah, just back on tantalum, yeah, I think for people who don't know what it is or what it looks like, I think the attraction to tantalum is it's kind of like titanium in a way. It's got that different color, that different depth to the texture. Could be wrong. I feel like it's part of the refractory metals group is what I'm remembering from high school
Mm.
days. And I think it has, yeah, high melting point, I think, is a tantalum.
Yeah.
But that could be wrong. I could be getting that confused with something else, but that's stuck in my head from memory.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Good
but
for it's a alloy that's got improved strength, ductility, increased
yep.
corrosion, heat resistance. So cool. Suppose it makes it harder to work with, I'm guessing,
Yes, yeah.
hence more expensive. Yeah.
And just a couple last points. Go look at the Nova, the Aventurine, all Aventurine dial. Now, the Meteorite Aventurine is my favorite just because it's something that's not been done in Zillos well before, apart from like a bezel or something, not on the same dial.
Hmm.
How good have they done to match that center aventurine color to the outer rings and then include that like CNC guilloche
Pattern on the
style
outside.
pattern?
Yeah.
They've done so well to blend that all perfectly.
Yeah, no,
Um,
they've done really
Unreal.
well. I mean, I think like you sort of mentioned before, and probably my criticism on this watch as well is this the the legibility of the Arabics. Felt like you could have just went with just indices, whether it's
Yep.
circle or something like that, would have been enough here. So especially like the Venturine dial.
Yeah. Even like a
Mm.
railway style track would be
Yeah,
cool on this.
yeah,
That'd be
exactly.
really nice on this.
Even like yeah, like the mop dial, like it's so hard to read. Like you got to be like zooming in to try and. I mean, obviously, we are looking at only the shots, the press shots in the, not the press shots. We're looking at the shots in their website, which doesn't really give a lot of, they're never really in the best light, but it's pretty cool. I mean, keep scrolling down. There's a video there. There's some cool shots over there, and seeing the patterns, the CNC gear shape patterns on the dial. I mean, obviously it's CNC. If it's hand finished, it's going to be
Yeah.
in the, you know, X
That's
number
where
of
you start going up.
thousands.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just cool. I like it. The leaf style hands as well. Is that what it
Yes.
were? Leaf style hands?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
very nice. And I mean, it's hard to tell, but these hands, when they're really polished, you don't need loom, with dress pieces like
No,
this at
no.
night. I mean, just the slightest bit of light, it just reflects off of it. I know, for example, just Grand Seiko does this pretty well. They really polish. It's,
Yep.
so, it's such a yeah. So you just the touch of light, and you're like, boom, I can see the time because
Pops. Yeah.
yeah. So hey, I think it's a great release actually for them. What do you? I mean, and there's still 2 more days till it, till it drops,
They
but.
will be available.
Yes, yes. So I guess yeah. I'm just trying to think. Depending on how we do our release order, we'll have to have a discussion on that. Oh no, when I
Yeah,
drop
good
the
point
episode.
actually. Now we'll
Like
figure that out.
like Justin said, we've been pretty good with recording. We sort of have a bit of a backlog now. So anyway, we'll wait and see. Maybe we'll drop this episode before the other ones, just
Mm.
to let people know. But yeah,
Just
but I
one last point on
but,
the Aventurine here before we move on from Zillos.
mm,
On the all Aventurine dial, I think the use of it being in the center and then in that center second circle only and having a different material on the outside makes the Aventurine way deeper, way more eye attractive. Instead of
mm.
going all the way out to the edge of the case or to your minute track or whatever you've got, it looks so much better in a smaller concentrated area that really brings out those, that starry effect, that nighttime effect that they're going for. I think it looks
Yeah.
so good.
I agree. I agree. It makes it a bit more of a feature
Mm.
than their I guess their other adventuring dials. It
Yep.
really stands out as a dress piece. Like I think I guess, if I was say I'm going to a black tie event or something, I want like a dress piece, Out of out of all these dials here, I mean the tantalum is probably like the one which I would go, yeah, this is probably the pick of the
Yep.
bunch. But then the second one I'd probably go salmon because I feel like
The salmon
it's
is very cool. Yeah.
it's very nice. It might be a lot. The color's a bit of a clash, I think, with the indices and there's
Mm.
salmon, but I still think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I think there's not a watch here apart from the mops. Yeah, the mop is the mop. But you're buying that for the art. I think you're not buying it for legibility or the
No,
anything like that. But you can say that about all these pieces in a way, apart from the your standard salmon and teal colorways.
exactly.
But no, I think yeah, huge home run for Zillos.
Yeah, no, I agree. Cool. All right. Let's move on from Zeos and move on to my favorite, everyone's favorite, Seiko. Yes, so we're going to talk about a Seiko, but not a regular old Seiko. We're talking about a King Seiko. So this, I guess, Seiko relaunched their King Seiko line after a long time it being, I guess, dead. King Seiko was like a spin. Well, basically, they're the two different factories. They had the Suwa and the Daney factory. Each were one was doing King Seiko, one was doing Grand Seiko, and they sort of pit them against each other to see who can, basically get better finishing, who can better this, better that. And it was really cool, actually. That was sort of the pinnacle of Seiko days. They did that. So anyway, Grand Seiko won, hence Grand Seiko survived and King Seiko didn't. But moving
Yeah.
all away from the history of all that, I think they've released a few different. I think they released about two models prior to this, or maybe three different models. But they had that sort of shape, that classic King Seiko shape. Now they come to another case shape that they haven't used again in a while as well. It's like a
Mhm.
tonneau shaped, kind of like a turtle-esque shape, you could
It
say.
is just
Yeah.
looks a lot thinner, doesn't it? That's the only
Yeah,
and yeah,
correct.
standard that style case. A lot of those cases tend to be very chunky, very thick lugs, but I think this does it very well.
Yeah, that's right. So this is I guess the King Seiko 1969, and there's a three different reference number here. There is the SJ. Where is it? This is terrible. I'm good at this stuff normally. SJE 109, SJE 111, SJE 113, and 115. So basically, there's like a ice blue, which is like a limited edition. There's a white, there's a purple, and there's a like a dark mossy green. So yeah,
Yeah.
look, it's. I'm just not going to talk about the price at the moment. Okay, I'm just going to talk about the watch itself before we go. Basically, look, they're paying homage to a King Seiko that came out in the 1960s, and he uses that case. So I think it's the 44 KS or 45 KS type of case, and it's just cool. Like it's basically they use the same design, and they just had the bracelet and everything else, and it's peak, sort of peak Seiko design in my mind
Hmm.
anyway. Super slim as well, 10 mil thick like the case, compact lug to lug like Seiko always does. And I don't know, it just looks clean to me. I can't fault the look of it. I can't fault how the bracelet, the new bracelet as well. It looks very, I don't know, very cool. And it just follows, I think, everything that Seiko has been good at in the past, vintage Seiko, which is just, like I think I've harped on about this many episodes, and even that YouTube channel that I featured, I think I've probably bored them to death by talking about it. But the Seiko grammar design, it's all in here.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's very, it's still got that polish and all sorts of things in there. But anyway, the in terms of I guess the handsets and stuff, but in terms of the actual case itself, it doesn't have that sort of sharp angles. It's a very Tourneau, like I
Mm.
said, turtle-esque case. So anyway,
It
aesthetically, I love it.
yeah,
And
it's very cool.
however, however, so the I guess the movement in it is not too bad either. They're using a 6L movement, which so it's definitely a step up from their 6R movement. Yeah. Yeah, so it's pretty cool, but it's not quite the chronometer certified King Seiko that they had, basically, that inspired this release. Have you seen that, by the way? I just want to.
Yes,
You
yeah, I
have seen
have.
it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So that, I mean, that was the heyday, I guess, where they were competing in the chronometer games until they were kicked out because they were too good.
yeah,
Anyway, I won't go there, but I just did. But yeah, yeah, I think it's cool. There's a lot in there to like, but I guess, yeah. I mean, your thoughts on this, because I'll just keep harping on.
yeah. Well, I guess before we get to the price of it as well, I think they're very cool. I don't have a lot of I got well, let's say no experience apart from chatting about King Seiko. I think just looking at the images on the website, it's a very well done nod to the time that it's inspired from, the 60s. You can definitely tell where in time it was coming from. We spoke on Seiko in the past, using all the way from Grand Seiko down to your standard Seikos, using the Japanese lore or history in
Hmm.
all of their stuff. And they've done it again here. It's kind of cool, a little bit gimmicky here though, because there's a lot going on in this. So
Sure.
like with your silver dial, I don't know the reference to the silver dial. It's down there somewhere. It's a silver dial that's textured to evoke the modern day cityscape of Tokyo, and it's just like it's just a silver dial. That's all it is.
109. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's just that, and then you kind of scroll down, and the purple and the green one. The green actually really reminds me of that eucalyptus in turtle
Yeah.
colorway they did here in
All right, yeah.
Australia.
Yeah.
But the texture of the green and purple is traditional washi paper,
Yeah.
which is a central part of Japanese art and culture. Yeah, cool. Really, really, I think you could have gone with that and run with it. And
Yeah.
then I go down to the blue, and I'm like, come on, guys. And it's the blue dial is textured with a pattern that evokes a rising dragon. It's like
It's not, there's no dragon there.
there is no dragon at all. And then when you keep looking at this, you're like, oh, the multifaceted indice at 12 is very cool.
Yeah, it is
And
cool.
they start talking about Japanese archery and it's just like, well, we've got
Mm,
the city of Tokyo, we've got Japanese archery, we've got
mm,
Japanese paper, we've got dragons. It's just there's a lot going on here. It starts to feel, I mean, in the Grand Seiko space, I know it's been talked about before.
mm.
The seasons and the rivers and the grass, every aspect of it is used and milked,
Yep.
which I think is fine because we did speak about their
Yeah, we did.
workshop and
Did. Mm.
yeah, where inspiration comes from. I think that's cool. I start to feel like they're trying to trickle that down a little bit too far, and at some point you're just clutching at straws, right?
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to do something that's dragon inspired, make it dragon inspired. I just
Yeah.
don't see it
Yeah.
here. I don't feel it here. I think yeah, it's maybe a missed opportunity, but hey, I mean, King Seiko is what it is. They might be trying to play it safe to
Yeah.
rebuild and recreate.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was probably a bit too much on the law edition there. They probably gave it to the intern and said, "Hey, run with this, but add some additional stuff." I feel like that's probably a bit too much.
Well, look,
But
it
yeah,
is the animal sign of 2024.
the
For
dragon.
Japanese zodiac is the dragon, so there is a nod there somewhere. But make it mean something. Don't just make
Yeah,
a generic pattern that you've done elsewhere before, and all the micros are doing to a certain extent, and
sure.
and name it the Dragon Watch.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I can't fault you there about that. And I mean, while we're talking about, I guess, faults, we can't walk past it without the retail price. The retail price is 4,650 Australian dollars or 3,100 US dollars.
At that
It's
price, I would be walking straight past it. I wouldn't even look at second time. I'd be
it's
walking straight past.
very, very pricey. And I think there's a lot of elements in here that they've brought that old King Seiko in, but
Mm.
they just didn't quite go the distance. I feel like for the price, you needed to have put in that chronometer spec movement in here.
It-
You do because that and
yeah,
then that way it's historically accurate and you're also giving the people more for their
you have
money.
to
I
give
feel
someone
like.
more if you're paying that
Yeah,
much. I mean,
exactly. Yeah.
at this point, you could scroll past these and look and be like, oh, there's a new case for the cocktail times,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
wouldn't know the difference. There's a fancy looking bracelet on it,
Yeah.
but yeah, you would scroll
It,
past those
it,
dials and go, oh,
it's very much if you know, kind of
100%. Yeah.
big because unless you're a fan of the brand, i.e. like me, but then you look at King Seiko 1969, I know exactly what
Yeah.
what this is representing and I want this, then great. You would probably go for it if you got the money. However, I feel like, there probably needs to be a bit more for the movement. I feel like they should really have gone that, let's really bring it back and make
Hmm.
this a chronometer spec. And, because they released two sort of reissues recently, which was a Seiko 5. I don't know if you can remember, but it was like a gray silver dial and with the
Yes.
red.
Yep.
That was a one-to-one pretty much
It
recreation.
was so good too. They did it
And,
so well.
and they did it so well and that was awesome. So it's not like they can't do it. Why don't you do it for this? Like,
Even like they're releasing the Seiko fives that were the people call them the 50 fathoms inspired
yeah,
ones.
yeah,
Those new ones, then they look so much like the old Seiko 5 ones that
yeah.
they're paying homage to there. Yeah, exactly. Why can't they do it here?
Yeah, I mean they can, but
Oh
it's
yeah.
just I don't know. I mean obviously the finishing is a step above your Seikos, your SPB levels and all that. It
Hmm.
definitely is, right? So it's not quite fair to just be like this price when I
Mm.
look at it. There definitely is just I wouldn't say justifications, but there definitely is reasons to why these things are a bit more expensive. However, I still think that's overpriced for what it is. But I guess unless I have it in the flesh, I wouldn't really be able to tell.
True, true.
Yeah. So, but yeah. Anyway, enough of enough of that one. But if you do want to go grab it, the dragon ones are all sold out. So sorry about that. But you can get the my pick of the bunch would probably be the
Purple.
purple
Yeah,
because
yep.
yeah, purple's
It
cool.
is cool. And that's the thing. At the end of the day, they are cool. They're nice looking watches.
Yeah.
But there's just nitpicks here and there.
Yeah. Very
All
good.
right, let's move on to a brand of watch that I'm probably going to butcher the name of. I'm going to say, is it Sao?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sao
Pretty good.
Baltimore.
Yeah.
Now, the reference or the name of the watch itself is the Natty Bow Moon, is what I'm going to go with. I
Yep.
really apologize if it's not, but this is the watch that yeah, I was completely oblivious to up until, or actually a brand as well, oblivious to until the last year, half an hour. These watches are very cool. I don't know where to start looking at them all because when you see a page of releases of one style watch, you kind of
Yeah.
get your standard colors and one case material, and there is a lot going on here.
Yeah. I
So
mean, well, I think we'll specifically talk about the full loom
I only get full
ones
loom.
because they're the ones that are actually getting released or
They're the new
slash
release. Okay.
they're the new release ones that pre-order. I think
All
pre-orders
right.
now, right now. You can pre-order it right now. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right, so yeah, full loom limited to 100 pieces, so very limited run. Everything else up in the shop is sold out, so you can't get a hold of it. But yeah, they come on a Camden orange, something I've not heard of either. Not sure what that is a reference to, or if that's just the color of orange. But basically, looking at a Swiss quartz movement, moon phase complication, 40 millimeter watch, 10 mil thick. Sounds like pretty good
Mm.
specs for my wrist. I know you like it on the smaller side a little bit.
It's not too bad though. 47 mil lug to lug. That can
Oh,
work.
is it 47? Yeah,
Yep.
okay. But full loom, I've spoken on that recently a few times because I would like to add something to my collection full loom. Don't think this is it,
Mm.
but still very cool watch. So, what is the background on the image on the front here
Um,
on the watch itself?
so Natty Bow is National Bohemian. So it's a beer, I think.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure National Bohemian is a beer, so it's colloquially known as Natty Boh, and it's a beer based out of Baltimore, Maryland. And this brand, Sal Baltimore, is from Baltimore, Maryland. So it's pretty cool. And this is an official agr licensing agreement. So they it's pretty cool. They got a beer
Yeah.
brand in there and it doesn't look tacky, you know what I mean? It looks good.
It does, yeah. I mean, when you do that kind of collaboration, you can make it look very slapped on and too in your face. Whereas in using the moon phase to promote the logo for Natty Bow was a
Mm.
very smart, fun way of doing so.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I'm not really sure. I think the really don't really understand what's like, I guess, what's on the moon face. Its disc itself that seems to be like a crab and a few other bits. I'm assuming it's something to do with the brand itself.
Yep.
Not knowing much about this brand, but I guess it's cool that they're homaging that their hometown beer, and their story is pretty cool as well. I actually saw this brand, well, I'm going to say a couple of years ago, and I think it was Worn and Wound, but I mean they're an American micro brand, and Worn and Wound's really good at promoting American micro brands, and I think I not too recently saw a video that they actually opened up like a shop. They actually have I think they either already have one or they were, yeah. So you can actually go in and try these pieces on, which is really cool for a micro brand, right? To have a watch boutique for a
Mm.
micro brand. I know Baltic does, and because they're getting a lot bigger now. But to just be like, yeah, like I want to just walk into a shop and buy go into their shop and buy it. So it's pretty cool. And obviously it's designed and assembled in Maryland as well. And then I think they eventually want to actually try and fully manufacture there, which is, it's always
Awesome.
the
Yeah.
dream for I guess the micro brands to really fully embrace that. But just going back to the watch, like it really evokes fairer to me. I don't know why, but I
Mm.
guess I guess
It's
it's
that case, isn't it? The case is very fair.
yeah. The bezel is very minimal and the dial is huge. Like the
Yeah.
dial takes up majority of the 40 mil. I feel like it's going to wear bigger just because of the size of the
Mm.
dial. The indices as well, the indices are applied and they're white, clearly so like polar white, so they're fully loomed, but then they've also got the black outline on them. So they really stand out, really pop out. Like
Even in
almost
that, when loomed, it
yes.
stands out so much. I was about to call out the loom on this watch and the loom on the moon phase itself. So the little Natty Bow
Mm,
logo on the moon phase and the crabs behind it
yeah.
pops so well. Like the use of yellow loom there. I don't know what loom that is because it just says Super Lumen Nova on it, I think.
Yeah, BGW9, I think,
Is
because
that BG?
because the blue, if it's blue, it's BGW9. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Um,
Okay, so it says
I think.
Swiss Super Luminova is what it's used.
Okay.
Anyway, moving on. But the actual yellow orangish loom used on the moon phase looks so good in amongst the rest of the blue loom. The blue loom on the crown looks amazing, and then blacking out, like making that date window look completely blacked out, like it is nighttime, like you're looking out a window, is
Hmm.
so cool, man. They've done that so well. The more I look at this, the more I really dig it. Hey,
Yeah. No, they've done. I think they've really. I think there's a lot more design that's gone into this than you initially sort of look
yeah,
into it. Like, when you first look at it, you go, "Oh yeah, okay, this is like interesting. What's this about?" But then when you look at it closer and closer, you're like, "This is really cool." And also, I guess before we move on as well, I really like the packaging and stuff they're including. So they include like it comes in a can, like a
a stash
stash.
can is what they
Yeah.
call it. Yeah,
It's pretty cool. Like fully
yeah,
lean into it and a 5-year warranty for a micro brand. That
yeah,
is
very cool.
huge. That's just like, yeah, that's cool, to be able to say, yeah, I'll give you a 5-year warranty. You know the brand is like, no, we're here to stay. And they've
Yeah,
been
yeah,
they've been around since I'm gonna say 2017. Yes,
they're getting
2017.
there.
Yep. So yeah, it's the math isn't mathing at the moment. 7 years. So yeah, it's pretty good for a micro brand. I think it's almost like a established micro brand now, if you say 7 years.
Yeah, for sure. I
Yeah.
think like just before we move on as well, the price 533 USD
Mm.
is pretty acceptable. I mean, it's quartz, sure, doesn't
Yeah.
matter. But I think what you're getting with the rest of the watch, like if you go into their pictures and use the zoom feature to look at the crown, look at the dial, yeah, you're really getting a lot of bang for buck here. I think
Yeah. Loom crown as well. Just
the
a
Loom Crown's cool. Yeah.
loom crown. So yes, very, very cool. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome little brand. Again, not something that I've experienced in Australia, but it would be cool if someone got it here and we'll be able to, check it out.
I'd love to see, well, yeah, well, even like looking in their whole catalog, some cool stuff from this company.
Yeah, yeah, I think they're one of their really popular model is the where is it? Yeah, I think it's their pilots are pretty cool. They
Yeah,
look
the
really
Bolt Pilot Recon is
yeah.
sick. That is so cool. Even the Diver Pro collection, that green on bronze is beautiful.
Mm,
Very
mm,
cool.
yeah.
All right,
Okay.
moving on.
Moving on. All right. We'll go from one micro to another micro, a bit more established micro, I would think, or at least more well known in this in I'm not
Been around a
it's,
little bit longer.
I don't know actually. I feel like, well, Nevada, we're talking
Or if
about
you include
Nevada.
their whole history.
Exactly. Nevada's one of those quote unquote zombie brands. So, they've been around for a long time and then they went defunct. And then gentleman Guillaume Leday brought it back to life. And I think he's done a cracking job. And I say this all the time.
Yep.
I think he's just done a cracking job. And this is another release. This is their Chronosport re-edition. So, yeah, I mean, they've look at and their old pieces, then they go back into their back catalog, which is massive, and then they relaunch it, and they try and do it in. I think they usually go, okay, we'll try and release an automatic version of it, and then we'll try and release a Mecha Quartz version of it. And I believe this is gonna be not. So this is an automatic version of it.
Hmm.
It's just pure 70s racing
Yeah.
inspired chronograph. Yes, very cool, very cool. Just immediately look at it, it just reminds me of I guess like a little bit like you could say like a Daytona, but also not. It's got the same colors and things like that, but I think it's a bit unfair to just say Daytona, and
Yep.
but they do acknowledge that it does invoke that style because Nevada used to use Singer dials. Singer are a brand that make dials, and I'm pretty sure Rolex also used Rolex Daytona specifically also used Singer dials. So that hence there's going to be,
There's a connection there. Yeah.
exactly. They're
Yep.
both they're both made they're both made it. So Rolex never, they didn't used to make everything in-house like they do now. So, all these
Careful,
dials came from
they
no, no,
may come for you.
no, but it's true though. It's true, and I
Yeah,
think
100%.
I think it's pretty awesome that they made that dial. They designed that dial, and that therefore there's a lot of, I guess, there's the same colors in there, the red, the black, the
Mm.
white, the sort of eggshelly, I guess, a faded loom kind of color. So yeah,
And
yeah. What are your, I guess, just looking at it, initial thoughts?
no, just the Daytona as well. Like, there's
Mm,
nothing wrong with homaging the Daytona. Daytona's a, I want to say, fairly staple known
mm.
watch in the collecting world. Like, it's famous for many, many reasons in terms of the racing world, all the way to people who wear it now. People wear the blue and the brown one, whatever colorway you want to call that, all the way to that horrific leopard print one that came out some time ago. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with homaging and recognizing the inspiration from coming from Rolex, just because
Yes.
we don't agree with the Rolex world and what they do and what they're about doesn't mean that you can't respect or
Yeah, for
understand
sure.
a nod to it. But as soon as you look at this watch, you're just like, oh, it's so racing. Yeah, that's all I think. It's just race cars, MotoGP, F1, all that stuff. I just think it's the way they've done the case shape. Yeah, it looks like from the one photo that you can get of this watch. I didn't look at the profile, but the one photo that I seen, it's hard to describe it apart from it's just done perfectly. I don't know
Mm.
what I would change about this watch to make it of its era or make it look more inspired by the racing world. I just think everything has been done correctly, all the way down to like you said, the creamier
Loom.
patined
Yeah.
subdials and loom, the use of yellow and red, the font on the dial for
Yeah.
the 25 jewels is even that looks so retro and vintage or whatever you want to say. I just think, yeah, they've hit everything on the head, the pushes, the crown, everything. I
Yeah.
love it. Real big
Yeah.
fan of this.
Yeah. Me too. I mean, I think like the last, I've had a hands-on experience with two different Nevada chronographs now. Part of their, I mean, obviously they're Mecha Quartz ones, but they've both been awesome, and they've both really been, one's a bit retro. It's not inspired by, it's inspired by, but the design colors and stuff will change because it's a worn and wound one. But the other one is very much black, orange, very much,
Yep.
out of their back catalog. So I just sent you a link. So they this basically Boulang and Sons. They're a big, I guess, the watch outlet. They sell vintage watches. They sell a lot of really good watch straps, pretty high
Ah,
end stuff. So they were selling a vintage Nevada chronograph. This
yeah.
this this in so
They call it the Newman dial as well.
yeah, because it is.
It
So
is, yeah.
basically, Singer, like I said before, they made the dials for Rolex for the Paul Day, the Newman dial, the Daytona Newman, and they use similar design for this Nevada dial as well. So very obviously they're the watch. I guess the same thing like Squale used to make cases for a few
Yes,
different
yep.
companies and stuff like that. So obviously they're going to keep, they're not going to change around too much. It's their design. So, but the cool thing is, so they shared this to their, I guess, to in the Nevada Watches account, and a lot of people were like, "Hey, you guys need to make that."
Yeah.
And they did. And how cool is that that they actually did
Yeah.
that? And they're like, "Yeah, yeah, we can do it."
We
You know,
say it all
and
the time. They're listening to the community. Yeah,
yes,
that's one of the big things for us. They're
yeah,
in
yeah.
touch.
Yep. Yep. And yeah, they had to modify an EDA movement as well to make it fit the two counters and
Yep.
all that. Like, oh, there's a lot of work that goes into something like this, I think. The only thing, I guess, my only thing that I'd be really interested to know is the thickness of this watch.
I was going to say the thickness and the bracelet. It looks so chunky. That bracelet's real
Yeah.
big.
I like the bracelet that's on that vintage version. It's like a
Yes. Yep.
flat link. Yeah, it's a flat link that sort of tapers down. I wonder if
Like a
this
Y
does as well.
style. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a flat link, isn't it? Is that what we call
Yeah,
it?
definitely flat. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, but I'm interested to see whether it will be exactly the same style. And I mean, we know automatic watches are always so automatic chronographs are always a bit thicker than Mecha quartz, but I'll have my fingers crossed that they will do the exact same thing in Mecha quartz because they do that. They always release like both. Yeah,
I'll be
and
watching as well. If this comes out in Mecha Courts, it's definitely on my radar as well, I
yeah,
think.
38 mil case. Oh yeah, this is good. This is good.
This is cool.
Very nice. All right,
Awesome.
bring it
All
home.
right. So last watch for the new releases is a watch I stumbled across on Instagram during the week. And I was like, oh, this is very different, very interesting. Nothing I would wear, but it was enough to catch my attention. We're going to talk about the Hautlense. That is HAUTLENCE Retrovision 47. Now, this isn't your traditional watch by any means. You definitely can tell the time, but it is very different. So, limited to 10 pieces. And if you go and have a look at their Instagram and click the link to their shop, you will see why it is limited to 10 pieces. But basically, this is a hand painted watch, which is kind of cool. But it is the case shape is a marbled green that is a like whatever the size difference is, but an exact
Yeah,
1-for-1 lookalike of like a Bakelite broadcast receiver from the 1940s. Now,
pretty cool.
having dealt with all types of receivers and transmission gear in my line of work for the past, oh God, I don't like saying it, but
A long
12
time.
years. Yeah, my only career. That's what caught my attention. I knew what this was when I looked at it. I thought it was awesome. I was like, oh, this is so cool. Yeah, like I said earlier, I wouldn't wear it. The colorway is crazy, but I don't even know where to start with this watch apart from like it's radio shaped case is what they call it. It is like it's a rectangle, I guess, but it also has. Do you call them
Yeah.
lugs? Is that what I don't know what to call them.
Kind of is like is that yeah, I mean it's lugs that are sort of it almost looks like handles on the side of a
That's
fry
it.
pan. It's if you look at it
Like
from
a yeah,
a crock
yeah,
pot, it's a crock pot with a movement inside cased in. But
yeah.
I'm making it sound bad, but actually it's super cool. Like
You
it
have to look at it to understand because we're going to butcher it. But yeah, the movement in this is a double hairspring flying tourbillon,
mm,
which my brain doesn't comprehend. But yeah, gold plated brass dial with embossed Mobius pattern. Mobius, again, another term to radio,
mm,
and it's not topology, a different word. We don't use it anymore. But yeah, it comes on a leather strap, dimensions 39.2 mil, which I assume is I want to say height of it, by
mm,
44 mil wide by 12.1 mil thick.
yep.
So going to wear pretty compact,
Mm,
especially with 12.1 thick in like a squarish or rectangular case. I think that's very chunky, but I don't think you could do this not chunky, right?
yeah, double hairspring flying tourbillon. I'm guessing there's a lot of movement in there.
Heaps of stuff going on. Yeah.
Yeah,
Power reserve 72 hours. It's an
that,
in-house movement too, which I think is pretty unreal for a brand that I've never heard of or heard a reference to.
yeah.
So they call it D20 is what it is. And it's got 176 components inside that little rectangular case, which I think you don't hear that mentioned or anything referenced on pages of any of these kind of high horology.
Hmm,
Yeah, to hear how much actually goes into that. We all know there's a lot, but
yeah.
the only thing I like this watch. I really like it. Never wear it, never could afford it, but really like it. Hiding
That's
tourbillon
exactly what I was going to
behind the
say. That was my
grill.
point.
I hate it and love it at the same time because the gold plated tourbillon, you're like, oh, there is something so cool behind there. But to stick with the receiver style and still put the grate there and the grill there, I love it. I do really like it. Really cool.
Yeah, it's almost like a massive flex, right? It's kind of like
100%.
I've got a double flying tourbillon or whatever it's called, but
Radio on my
radio,
wrist.
but I've got some grills blocking it, so you don't really know, but if you know, you know. And like yeah, it's high horology kind of thing, bit just wild, bit crazy, bit like, you got some money to spend, then yeah, you go get one of these kind of thing. And there's only it's only limited to 10 pieces as well.
10 pieces. Yep. Not a lot.
Not a lot. And I would imagine that a lot of them would already be spoken for by
Yeah.
some people. But yeah, I'd be so interested to know what else this company does.
Well, so they've been around since 2004, so they've got an
Oh,
established history of 20 years this year. I'm gonna kind of follow this company a bit more because I do like what they've done now that I look at their catalog and
mm,
understand them. But I like that in their little, I guess, description about themselves, they say their handmade timepieces capture their imagination and give us a chance to wear something usually only reserved for our dreams. I was like, that's actually kind of cool. It's yeah, a bit wanky at the same time as when you think about a radio receiver, like you're not
yeah,
just wearing your King Seiko that has a Japanese arrowhead
sure.
and Dragon inspired. Like that radio looks like a radio.
Yeah,
Everything about it, down to the hand painted color of the 1940s era,
yeah,
looks exactly the
yeah.
way it was back then,
I,
which is cool.
it's funny because all the other stuff, I'll be dead honest with you. There's a lot of Hublot, Jacob and
Oh
Co.
yes, yeah.
happening here. So probably not my favorite. I guess this is cool. Like what they've done here is very much different. And but in saying that, the previous stuff is also crazy. Like we're talking about 18 karat gold case and retrograde movements and jumping hours and full in-house and tourbillon. We're talking about everything packed into one, right? So this is definitely not for your average collector. This is,
No, God no.
yeah, it's
And yeah, if you work in radio, you definitely can't afford this watch either. So yeah, if they want to make a Mecca Quartz or something, maybe I'll consider it as well down the track. But I don't know, like I look at the catalog and I do think, yeah, like you said, there is some Hublot in there, but I think more tastefully. I think
mm,
there's what they're referencing in here. Like if you read a couple of their blurbs there, it does show what they've gone for in there, and you do see it. Whereas in, like we spoke about with that Big Bang disaster that was going on, nothing referenced or felt like anything was going on
mm.
with their inspirations. Anyway, we're not going back to Hublot. But I think, yeah, the use of movements all the way from their first kind of series one watches, you got what retrograde jumping hours in these TV style cases. Like you don't see this stuff
No,
often.
no, it's definitely out there. But are you gonna tell the listeners a price,
Yeah,
or we're gonna let them
yeah.
guess it?
No, let's tell them because I think we spoke about it enough.
Yeah.
And the price of the Retro Vision 47 is 60,000 CHF, coming to around 99,000 AUD. And yeah, it looks plastic. It looks very. I really hate saying it, knowing what's inside it and knowing the inspiration behind it and whatnot. But it does look cheap. But like you said, it is a flex. If you know, you know. Like you'd never heard of this. I'd never heard of this. And we're both on the Instagram
Mm.
22 hours out of 24 on a weekend, never a weekday. We're not those people. But to not have seen this at all come across at that kind of price point and these kind of standout pieces, I think is pretty rare, especially with a 20-year history.
Yeah, yeah. It's. I mean, like I guess that's the beauty of horology or watches. There's so many brands out there. That's and there's always something new to learn and new to check out. And this is obviously something for the more super high end. But it's cool. It's very different for sure.
Yeah. If you go to their Instagram, they actually have one of the 1940s radios on their Instagram, so you
Oh,
can compare it next to each other. And I think we said it about Nevada. it's very cool to see a nod to something done in the right way.
Cool. Very nice. All right. Cool. I guess we kind of come to the end of our, you know, we wanted to talk about new releases, but also wanted to have a quick chat. I guess a bit of a topical ones. We didn't really think it was going to go on for ages, so we decided, let's just do that first before we get into this. So I watched a YouTube video from a YouTuber, a very he's pretty big now. I'm slowly kind of stalling because I'm trying to find his YouTube channel. There we go, which is This Watch, That Watch. So this is Mike on YouTube. If you've not seen Mike on YouTube, go and watch Mike on YouTube. He's fantastic. He does some really good reviews, not so much reviews, but just really good topics and really insightful stuff with a bunch of data to back up with a lot of things as well. Yes, it just a very well presented YouTube channel. There's a lot of YouTube channels out there, watch YouTube channels that sort of just yell at you and, I don't want to say the names, but sort of probably, yelling at you. But this guy doesn't yell at you. He talks to you and, he goes through some stuff. Anyway, so he recently did a video reviewing the Zelos Spearfish dual time. I think we spoke about this before,
We did, yeah. We have
the
mentioned
actual
this.
watch itself, which is a really, yeah, super cool watch. I thought it's very different to, I think, Zelos's sort of other catalog. And he does reviews, but I don't think he'd done a Zelos review ever. So it was cool to do. So this, I guess what I want to talk about isn't really that video, but one of the comments I read in that video. So he got given this watch to review, and then at the end of it, basically Elshan said, "Hey, you can keep this watch. It doesn't matter
Mm.
what you say, what it is. You say what you want, but that's for you to keep." And which is quite common in sort of the YouTube watch game, and for I guess what do you want to call it, watch influencers to get some sort of, I guess, payment for their time. And some people can say this is bias now because you're accepting,
Mm.
I guess, some sort of monetary incentive or something to talk about the watch. But a lot of YouTubers declare this. They say in the start and say, look, Jody, for example, he's very upfront. He straight up just says, I got this, this watch this video sponsored by so and so, gave me this
Yep.
watch. I don't have to return it, but everything I say, this is my thing. And he will say a lot of good things about him, but he'll also go and say the bad things that he doesn't like about him, which is great, which is what you want to see. You want to see that. And, a lot of these YouTubers, and coming back to that, he basically got this watch, but he didn't keep it. He gave it back. Okay. Which is his prerogative. He wants to do that. He gave it back. And one of the top comments, or actually the top comment, says, integrity matters. Nice move sending the watch back. And there's a flurry of comments underneath. He's the only reviewer I trust. Keep it up. Blah, 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 blah. Yes, keeping the watch would make it look like it was a bought review, blah, blah, blah. I want to know your opinion on this. I I think you know where I'm coming from this.
Yeah, I do, 100%. I think we agree on it
Yeah.
as well. I think we're very in the what I would like before giving my opinion. I do want to say like jealousy is a bitch, and that's I think a lot of this, to run a not only successful but like a big YouTube channel that is constantly coming up with content and reasons to keep going is hard work to begin with. It's extremely hard work. I mean, yeah, stressful. It's different to what we do here. We have our own, own issues and stuff to work through over here. But I think, yeah, with YouTube, there's so much more work than what
Mm.
we do here. And people, it's easy to not think about that or forget about that when you're watching from your couch or while
Mm.
it's on your monitor while you're at work. You can forget about that. So you got to remember there's a lot goes into this to that space before it gets to your TV.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I said, jealousy sucks. Yeah, people just like to hate. People like to find a reason to be, frustrated and find a reason to nitpick and prod at something. I mean, yeah, like I do it with watches, but I think in the social media world, it's everywhere, right? No matter what you do, whether it's an Instagram post, maybe not so much folks in the watch world, but if you go scroll on any normal influencers post and they're wearing, I don't know, something expensive clothing wise or shoe wise, or have a car, the comments are pretty rough. Had all the way from how they've got the money or how they obtain the
Yeah,
possession.
yeah.
It's pretty rough.
There's always some
Um,
sort of yeah, there's always like a yes, they must have done this to get this, or and it's especially worse for female
yeah, 100%.
celebrities, which is awful. But yeah, I see exactly what you mean. I mean, there's that portion of it as well. But
That was just what I wanted to clear up before
yeah,
I move into my opinion. Like there's a lot
yeah,
a lot of the YouTube comments or social media comments in general will come
yeah,
from that angle, just
correct.
because people are salty about a lot of other things in
Sure.
life, and that that's the way they get it out.
I guess it's easier to
Um,
hate in someone behind a screen.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
I've never ever felt like the need to leave like a real hateful comment to someone or they're just
yeah.
I don't know. Do
Yeah,
better.
yeah,
Anyway.
do better, people, do better. But do you think though, do you think that whether he kept that watch or not, do you think that affects his integrity as a watch
No,
reviewer? Yeah.
no. And I guess first up, maybe you can review a watch like it. So
Mm.
you could review a watch and review it well, or honestly review it well, or
Mm.
honestly review it with needs improvement or constructive criticism. And you can, in both those scenarios, like or dislike the watch. You
Yeah.
could criticize. You could criticize the hell out of the watch, but still like the watch, or
Yeah.
you could sing its praises and dislike the watch because it's not your thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't gel with you. One, yeah. If he doesn't, if was it Mitch? Was that it? Mitch,
Mike.
Mike. If Mike doesn't like the watch, you can. There's nothing wrong with
Yeah.
sending it back.
Yeah.
He's also running a very successful,
Yeah.
very big YouTube channel,
Sure. I
and
don't think,
let's
yeah, I mean,
not.
I don't think he's like massive YouTube channel wise, but I know what you're saying. Like he's
He's got
probably
following.
exactly, he's got following. And the thing is, some people, their livelihood is YouTube, but some
Yes.
people,
Yep.
they have other ways of making money, and YouTube is not their primary way of making money.
Yep.
So giving away the watch is probably nothing to them because they have money coming in. Whereas for another reviewer, that's their source of income. So they will get it and they'll probably sell it and go, yeah, that's now a bit more money for me,
Yep.
Yeah. So
And I think in a way it feeds back into the channel if you decide to
yeah,
go down the selling route, or if you're large enough that you really don't need to add a watch to the collection that's not going to get worn, or you're not interested in having to move on said watch, then yeah,
exactly.
you're allowed. If this is the thing, if you get offered the watch
Yeah.
to keep,
Yeah.
it is up to you what you want to do with it.
Yeah.
Elshan has given that watch to him if he wants it.
Yeah.
If not, flick it back.
Yeah.
It's not up to Joe on YouTube. Sorry,
Yeah.
Joe. You don't have an opinion or a say.
Yeah.
It's up to that person. And look, the world is a crappy place sometimes. Everyone's got different morals. Everyone's got different rules they live by, whatever.
Sure.
And it's one of those situations where my honest opinion is you can't please anyone as long as you feel like you're doing the right thing from Mike's point of view. That's what it is. But
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with sending it back, selling it, or keeping it. I think
Yeah.
all those scenarios are fine.
Yeah. I think the integrity of the review really comes down to the actual review itself, not
Yep.
the actions around it. And it's quite easy to see. I mean, I'm not going to name names, but I've seen some channels and people will do reviews and you're like, that's not really a review. That's like a definite like, hey, we paid you money. You
Promotion,
better
yeah.
say good stuff about us. And I think we've seen brands that do this, whether that were called out for doing that kind of
Yeah, yep.
stuff, which is not cool to see.
And I think you should be called out too. I
Yeah.
do think that should be made obvious.
Exactly. And there's also plenty of brands like I've seen like Jody, for example, whenever they reviewed stuff, they, the brands themselves comment underneath going, thank you so much. Yes, we agree on, I don't know, the clasp and we're actually improving it for the next release, or yep, that will be updated before the production run. It's just it's feedback. It's exactly what we talk about in the microspace and all that. It's
Hmm.
taking that in, working with the people that are buying your watches and working with the reviewers that can point out these things so that you're getting a better product and out to your people and someone to be more satisfied with it. And yeah, I mean, look, we don't have to go that far. We're a very very small podcast. Yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, we're relatively speaking to all these big names out there, but we enjoy doing this, really like it. And we ourselves have had very new brands on that have, and they've sent us stuff for review before we we did the episode. We have a chat with them. We enjoy it. We say what we have our criticisms maybe, but it's very constructive. We try and a lot of this stuff. It's just to try and, how do you say it, give them, not just give people exposure in terms of their watch, but give their story a voice, and that's why
Yeah.
we sort of do that. And, full disclosure, when we did podcasts with HZ Watches, shout out to Matt, we he we started chatting. Yeah, we started chatting, and then we said, yeah, let's get you on, let's have a chat. It was a fantastic chat. He's a great
Hmm.
bloke. We've talked about not just about the watches, talked about all sorts of other stuff. Even till this day we have chats. And then after the podcast, he said, hey, so what color do you guys like? And we were like, what do you mean? And he sent us a watch, and that was awesome. We never asked for it. We never initiated that. That wasn't part of it, or wasn't stipulated, like, we need that to do this. No, that's not why we're in it for.
Yeah.
However, that doesn't change that didn't change our opinion on the watch or what we thought of the watch, or we were honest and we said what we thought. And I think, and I don't think the integrity, like, coming back to the point, I don't think the integrity of the person reviewing it really changes if someone decides to do that. And
Yeah.
shout out to Matt. He's just going on to bigger and bigger things. His second pre-order release for the updated
Hmm.
version 2 of the HZ01. I think he's been selling more and more, which is great to see. And we want that, because at the end of the day, we want the industry as a whole, or especially micro brands as a whole, to flourish, and Australian micro brands, I guess, because we're a bit, yeah, we want to see our
Yeah. No, we're
homegrown guys
definitely
go.
biased for Australia. But yeah, I think you've covered it. Yeah, covered that very well. And yeah, like you said, massive shout out to Matt. Just an all round nice guy. I never thought starting this podcast up that we would ever, that it would ever be offered, let alone
Yeah,
wanted, or thought about in my head. And that gesture did mean a heap. It meant a lot.
yeah,
We've got an awesome friendship with Matt.
yeah,
Hopefully, do get to meet him in person
for sure.
someday. But we're looking forward to keeping up with what he's doing, like his brand as well. He ran into some challenges on first
Mm,
release, and he met them head on. He was, from what I've seen on the Facebook groups, very
mm,
open and honest and
yeah,
transparent about absolutely everything. And I
yeah,
think that you couldn't start your company in a better way than what Matt's done over there at
yeah,
HZ.
for sure. I mean, like, yeah, full disclosure, like, the watch that I received had an issue, and it was an issue that happened during shipping. He took it back, changed it, literally sorted it out, had his watchmaker look at it, fixed the stuff, sent it back, and it was back in within a few days. And this is not just because of, me, being a what if you want to call it, part of this watch the group or whatever. It could have been anyone, and he would do the same thing. And he
Mhm.
actually, in fact, thankfully, he didn't need to do much of that. But yeah, it's cool. And yeah, like you said, never in my wildest dreams I would imagine that
Yeah.
this thing that we've started, people are, willing to, brands are willing to chat to us, but also they want to come on and, giving us, I guess, something for our time, which is really appreciated.
Yeah. And yeah, if you want to go show some support to Matt as well, we will put
Yes.
a discount code into our show notes, which will
Yes.
be active for the second drop and the black and white dial.
That's right. Yeah, we're sure we'll chuck that in. So cool. I think, yeah, that's kind of the end of that topic now. We, what we think now. Would be so interested to think, well, I guess so interested to know what you guys think. And we've come to the end of the topics, and I will ask. I know it's been a long episode, but anything interesting before we wrap it
Yeah.
up?
Yeah. So I had something interesting this week. Tudor. Tudor watches have returned to racing. So
I saw that.
F1 teams, look, they're still milking the Black Bay, which I'm here for.
Nothing
I
wrong with
know,
that. Nothing wrong with that.
yeah, I was going to say, I know, like how I talked a bit on Seiko and King Seiko, possibly milking a little bit too much, but now I'm gonna you can call me out. I'm gonna call myself out. Um, I enjoy it. Tudor coming back to F1. Can't remember what team it was exactly off the top of my head, but Daniel Ricciardo is wearing well, for the time being, I do hear rumors he's possibly not going to be racing too much longer, but he is wearing the black ceramic blue dialed Tudor Black Bay. But I thought it was, yeah, cool to see. Like they've had a lot of ties into Red Bull and whatnot at the moment with the Alinghi. I think that was the one it was.
Yeah, yeah, the
Yeah,
racing. Yeah, Alinghi
yeah.
racing. Yeah,
That was boat racing, or is there a certain, can't remember the actual name for that style of boat racing, but I
sailing.
think sailing, yeah,
Yeah,
possibly. But I think, yeah, there's a lot of motorsport crossover in the world of watches, and it's cool to see Tudor in that space.
yeah, yeah.
And the blue's
Nice.
cool. Tudor haven't done a blue like this from my knowledge. Very pastely. It goes very well with this black ceramic, gorgeous looking watch. And yeah, Daniel Ricciardo is a Perth boy himself, so something interesting
Mm,
from home.
yeah, for sure. That's it's a nice. I think I saw it. It was him and as a Japanese.
Yuri,
Yep.
can't remember his name, but it is Yuri.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's a Japanese racer. It was always like a blue Black Bay, isn't it? Pretty much.
Yuri Sonoda.
Nice. Very cool. Send us a
Yep.
link for that. I'll chuck it in the
Yes,
show
we'll do.
notes.
Yep.
Very cool. I'll flip it around. You're always the ones giving Netflix recommendations and such. I recently got back Disney Plus. I haven't had Disney Plus for a while. I had it for a bit and then yeah, it adds up all these subscriptions. So I
It
was like,
does,
you know
yeah.
what? I'm gonna get rid of Disney Plus for a while. And I did. And I got it back because I got a deal. So I was like, sweet, yeah, I'll get it back. And so I had watched previously Bear.
Oh yeah, yep.
So yeah, it's look, everyone's probably talked about this show already. I'm probably one of the last person to talk about it, I saw the season one when they first aired. It's basically just a show like I guess a kitchen show. Like they
Mm.
it's like a dramedy, sad at times, funny at times, and it's all about just it's about a kitchen basically. It's about a shop and a chef that I guess who worked in all this crazy Michelin star stuff coming back to like his hometown restaurant and all the drama and everything else surrounding it based in Chicago, I think. It's cool. It's funny. It's intense. It really, some of the scenes really makes you think. Some of the scenes really makes you like feel for them, and it's a bit confronting at times, but then it isn't. And anyway, I really enjoy it. Definitely check it out. And I'm just at season 3 now. There is some pretty cool watch spotting there as well. Just shout
Oh,
out
cool.
to I think I'm not gonna I think it's Marcus is the character's name, and yeah, that's it, Marcus, and he wears a Tissot in
Cool.
one of the episodes. So yeah, anyway,
I've not
pretty cool.
dove into Bear myself, but I have seen it on Disney Plus. Disney Plus is a regular channel on in our
Nice,
house. But
nice.
I will definitely give it a crack. And if you got kids, Young Jedi, get on Young Jedi. It's just for the kids, not for adults. Don't.
Young Jedi. I think that's on it's on ABC Plus as well for
Okay. Yep.
Australians. So yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah.
Very
So
cool.
so cool.
Awesome.
All right. Well, that's the end. That's the end of the episode. Bit of a long one, but enjoyed that. And yeah, if there's nothing else, we'll wrap it up there.
No, all good, mate. Take care. Thank you for joining us on Overtime the podcast. We hope you've enjoyed the episode.
You can find us on our Instagrams at Overtime the Podcast, at Kinda Average Watches, and at Horology Capture.
We appreciate the support and value your feedback. If you have any questions, suggestions, or topics you'd like us to cover in future episodes, please hit us up. We would love to hear from you.
Until next time.